to talk about 5 misconceptions of police work. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do so that you don't miss out on any police related videos, any of my vlogs. If you're into that kind of stuff, we have fun here, so just subscribe so you don't miss anything. Quotas for tickets. That is not a thing. Obviously, there are goals that our department likes to see, but that's with any place. When I used to work at American Eagle, we had goals that we needed to achieve. No, we do not have quotas for tickets. We do not. People are always like, well, it's the end of the month, gotta get your quota. No, we don't have any of them. A lot of officers just have their own goals, and if they want to attain a certain goal before the end of the month, that's on that individual officer. It's not a department type of situation. I'll go weeks without writing a ticket just to clear the air. There's no quotas for tickets, okay? A lot of times you see on these TV shows, they say, I'm gonna get a warrant, and then they're able to just go directly into the house. Yeah, no. Warrants take a while to get. They don't just appear within an hour. You need to put in the information, the person's name, charges, the circumstances that surround the incident, and it takes time. You have to fill out all the paperwork, then you have to give it to a judge. A judge needs to approve it. There's arrest warrants, bench warrants, search warrants. When it comes to an arrest warrant, someone committed a crime, you have all the evidence, but you can't find them, you can't locate them, then you would just fill out one of these accusatory instruments. This is just an example that I found online. Just Google accusatory instrument example and you can look it up that way. And what you would do is type in all of the information. You would choose the crime that they committed, and then in the to wit section right here is where you would type what they did in order to commit that crime. Now, it's a little bit more enhanced than that, but you would learn how to write all of this stuff on FTO and in the academy. Down here where it says, wherefore I request that the criminal process, blah, 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 blah. This is where you would request a warrant to the judge. They would look over all of the information, all of the paperwork within that case file. Judge approves it. Now, if you were doing a search warrant, you have to get all of the paperwork prior to even contacting the judge. They would look over that information, sign off on it, and then you would be good to go search whatever dwelling that you need to search. When we go into a house on a call, that's a different situation. Anything is in plain view, that's the plain view doctrine. You might get a charge that way against you. But as far as just getting warrants like a drop of the hat, that does not happen. In a lot of shows, movies, they always show violence in order to get the answer. That's such a misconception. We try to obtain information about the situation through basic FBI kind of training. You can't just pistol whip someone. I don't know why people would ever think that we would do such a thing. That's crazy and ludicrous to even think that to begin with. A lot of these shows and movies just portray such a weird image of police, and 90% of it is inaccurate. Shows that are out there and movies are purely just for a dramatic effect. 90% of that stuff doesn't even happen. Blown way out of proportion. It's just crazy to me because everyone believes those movies and shows, and that is purely just for dramatic effect. There's a huge misconception on when they should be read, when they shouldn't be read. If I was dispatched to a crime in progress, I'm gonna use the example of a larceny that had just occurred. The person who's calling it in saw you steal from that store. Once we find the shoplifter, handcuff them, put them in the back of our car, we do not need to read you your Miranda rights, because the complainant, which is the loss prevention guy, a manager, whoever viewed you physically stealing, is enough probable cause to arrest the shoplifter. You're being arrested for that crime due to the observation of the complainant. The complainant saw you do that. We do not need to ask you any questions about the incident. We already know that you did it because the complainant saw you do it. Most of the time they show us video footage of this person stealing, doing whatever, so it is justifiable. There's enough probable cause in order to arrest you on that. When we would have to read you your rights is when there isn't a complainant that called it in, and where we need to ask you if you are a suspect, and we need to ask you questions if you were involved in it. Sometimes you have leads of who may have done it. You start with those leads and you interview them. I hope that that makes sense. I hate that misconception out of everything ever, because people will be like, oh, I know my rights. Yeah, okay, cool, that's great. I know your rights just as much as you do. I don't understand why people always think that like we want to jam you guys up. I have plenty of other things to do than to jam people up while I'm at work. Like, to me, that's just useless energy. It's a waste of my time. I'd rather just solve the dang case. Everyone always thinks that police officers have jurisdiction everywhere, and that's not the case. If something was to happen a couple towns over and it was a friend of mine and they called me and was like, hey, I need you to come over here because you're the police and you have to take care of this, blah, blah, blah. I would say, no, you need to call 911. They dispatch whichever agency is in that location in order to respond and take care of that call. It all boils down to the paperwork. We need to make sure that we're staying in our jurisdiction for stops, for arrests, for calls. We know where the lines end and where the other town begins. That's something that you learn during FTO, and that's something that you pick up on. Those are the 5 misconceptions that I could think of that are huge. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you do. And if you would like these kind of videos, then give this video a thumbs up and I will gladly make more of them. Until next time, I will talk to you guys later.